Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
A deadly shootout in his own driveway. Tonight, Southfield police honing in on a person of interest in a shocking case where a father killed in his own driveway.
Governor Gretchen Whitmer is signing a bill that will help the businesses and workers who've been hit hardest by the pandemic.
But let's start here at 5 with some major activity on Storm Tracker 4.
Yeah, it's still a few states away, but it's going to bring us some snow. Here's Paul Gross in for Ben tonight with a winter weather advisory. Hi, Paulie.
Yeah, hey there, Kim. And we have a lot of stuff coming our way, and we have a winter weather advisory that's been issued by the National Weather Service. Now, most of us, that's in effect until 9 o'clock in the morning, but north of I-69, about right there, you're going to see this advisory extended until about 12 noon because you'll be the last changeover to regular rain. All right, here is Storm Tracker 4, and you see that snow is making progress. So let's get right to the high-resolution computer model here. By 8 o'clock, already starting to move into our south zone and parts of our west zone, and then you can see this heavy band of snow. I mean, it's really going to be coming down for a bit, but it will pass through. There'll be a bit of a break where it's just a lighter snow shower activity, and then tomorrow morning we have a freezing rain issue, and part of that freezing rain issue is because the air is very dry right now. The temperatures are in the upper 20s to around 30, but that blue bar at the bottom, that's the dew point. The farther apart those are, the drier the air is, and look at that. Some of those 10 to 15 degrees apart. So we're going to talk about that and talk about the timing for the freezing rain as well as the changeover to rain coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
Okay, Paul, thanks. Now a look at Michigan's latest coronavirus numbers. The state reporting 3,414 new cases and 193 new deaths, with 105 of the deaths coming from a review of records. The governor and the state's top medical experts say Michigan is making progress slowing the spread as we head into the new year.
Governor Whitmer announced she has signed a big COVID relief bill to help ease the financial impact of the pandemic. The $106 million plan includes survival grants for businesses that have had to shut down either partially or completely. State unemployment benefits will be extended to 26 weeks through the end of March.
Republican lawmakers such as Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey are criticizing the governor today for not immediately signing the bill when it was sent to her on December 22nd. But Whitmer's office says because the bill was not negotiated ahead of time, it needed a more thorough evaluation. Let's get to Victor Williams with more on what's in this state-level relief bill. Victor, good evening.
Yes, guys, good evening. Well, this is just as huge of a deal as the number that the governor is trying to get out there to the people of Michigan. But she said she started laying the groundwork for this months ago to try and help the people that really need it the most.
The bipartisan relief bill will provide families and small businesses the support they need to stay afloat.
Governor Whitmer speaking on her whopping $106 million relief bill just recently signed this morning.
This is a positive step, but there is still much more work to do to eliminate the virus and to grow our economy.
The funds will be broken down with different amounts allocated to different categories. One of the main priorities, the people who took the brunt of COVID's impact.
It includes $45 million in addition as direct payments to workers who have been laid off or furloughed as a result of this virus.
Workers aren't only being assisted, but potentially their employers as well, if qualified.
The bill includes $55 million to help small businesses impacted by COVID-19. Grants of up to $20,000 are going to be made available to small businesses across Michigan.
This version of the state's COVID relief will also be going towards certain parts of nightlife industries.
And the relief bill also includes $3.5 million for grants of up to $40,000 each for live music and entertainment venues.
However, the governor is hoping more can be done from the White House.
Once again, I want to urge the federal government to pass a bill that includes $2,000 in stimulus checks for American families. It's the right thing to do.
And you guys did hear earlier that the numbers are indeed going in the right direction. We're talking about the COVID-19 statistics all over our state. I'll have a look at that coming right up at 6 p.m. For now, we are reporting live tonight. Victor Williams, Local 4.
Victor, before you go, you mentioned that $45 million earmarked for people who've been laid off. How does that work? How will they get those funds?
Well, the governor is working right now on some type of statewide apparatus in order to get that out to the people, but she said she's going to be making an announcement soon to give us more details.
Yeah, and we will be following it. Okay, Victor, thank you. And speaking of those upcoming stimulus checks, the battle is playing out in Congress. The bill that breezed through the U.S. House hit a big road bump today in the Senate. Here's NBC's Susan McGinnis on Capitol Hill with the details.
Well, after some legislative drama on the Senate floor today, the fight is not over yet. Democrats want these payments raised to $2,000, as does President Trump. The question is, will enough Republicans get on board?
The Senate will come to order.
On the Senate floor today, Democrats trying to force Republicans to pass a bill raising COVID relief payments for Americans from $600 to $2,000.
The fastest way to get money into Americans' pockets is to send some of their tax dollars right back from where they came.
The effort blocked by Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell.
Object.
McConnell breaking with a growing number of GOP members and with President Trump, who earlier today called on Republicans to deliver the $2,000 payments. As the issue pits the president against some in his own party, it also unites congressional Democrats and the incoming administration with him. Vice President-elect Kamala Harris today joining President-elect Joe Biden, signaling support for the measure.
A while back, I recommended that folks receive a $2,000 check. And so I would urge Mitch McConnell to put my bill on the floor for a vote.
Meanwhile, the Senate plans a vote tomorrow on overriding President Trump's veto of the critical defense spending bill.
I would urge my colleagues to support this legislation one more time when we vote tomorrow.
Democratic Senator Bernie Sanders now trying to link the stimulus payments with that override vote.
Working families need help now. Not next year, but right now.
Sanders threatening to delay the veto override vote unless Leader McConnell allows a full vote on the increased stimulus payments, leaving struggling Americans still not knowing how much relief they'll get. For now, the administration is moving ahead with plans to start sending out the $600 payments as soon as this week. In Washington, Susan McGinnis, Local 4.
All right, Susan. New video emerged today showing a Southfield husband and father of two in a deadly shootout with a carjacker whom police are still trying to find. This happened in the man's own driveway with his wife and children inside the home. Priya Mann has the latest on the investigation into this, what turns out to be a tragic crime.
Southfield Police Chief Alvin Barron says the victim in this case, Frederick Hudson, did everything he could to protect his family, getting into a shootout with another man in his own driveway while his wife and children were inside the home. Home security cameras recorded the exchange of gunfire that left a father of two dead outside his home in Southfield.
I think he displayed courage and tried to defend himself and his family as best as he could.
Frederick Hudson's wife heard the shot Sunday evening and found her husband lying in the driveway critically injured. The 48-year-old later died.
He was a devoted husband, a devoted father, and a respected businessman.
Southfield police don't believe this was a random attack and that Hudson may have known he was being followed. The CPL holder stayed parked in his driveway, and a short time later, a vehicle pulled up. 3 people got out and surrounded the victim. One was armed, and police say it's not clear who shot first.
It appears that Mr. Hudson was successful in striking that suspect as he fell to the ground. While that suspect was on the ground, he was able to continue firing and ultimately did strike Mr. Hudson.
The shooter then stole Hudson's car while the other 2 took off as soon as bullets started flying.
A person of interest arrived at a local hospital at approximately 8:12 p.m., which will be 22 minutes after the initial incident unfolded.
The 25-year-old, who's known to police, was shot in the neck and chest. He remains in critical condition and is not in custody, but that could change.
To the community, certainly rest assured, justice is coming. This was a targeted attack, and we will bring justice to this family.
Now, at this time, it's not clear if that 25-year-old suspected shooter drove himself to the hospital in that stolen vehicle. Southfield police saying they're still looking for that 2013 Toyota Tundra. In Southfield, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
All right, Priya. Mourners continue to say goodbye to Wayne County Sheriff Benny Napoleon. This is video from the Greater Grace Temple on 7 Mile in Detroit. Napoleon died on December 17th at the Henry Ford Hospital, 3 weeks after going on a ventilator with COVID-19. He was 65 years old. We spoke with Macomb County Sheriff Anthony Wickersham and Detroit Police Chief James Craig. Here's what they had to say about Napoleon's legacy.
Benny was a great man, and I remember one of the youngest police chiefs during his time of any major big city, which is a phenomenal accomplishment.
He was just a great person, a great mentor, somebody that situation arose and I needed some advice, somebody to reach out to talk to. Benny had many, many years of law enforcement experience, and between him and James Craig, they always had some good advice for a younger leader. So, you know, that's the one part I'm going to miss about Benny Napoleon. Just a great guy, somebody that the community adored, loved, and he really respected his community.
And visitation continues until 6 tonight. A private funeral service is planned.
People are uniting in grief tonight over the death of a Wayne State student. Casey Willis died after being shot Christmas Day. She was sitting in a car with friends when another car pulled up and someone started shooting. Larry Spruill is live at a vigil tonight in Casey's honor. Good evening, Larry.
Good evening, Jason. A very emotional prayer vigil here tonight. It just wrapped up, but still a very large crowd. Family, friends, and loved ones gathered here at University Prep to hold a prayer vigil in honor of Casey. This is where she went to high school from, and then she continued on her education at Wayne State University. Families gathered here saying that they are not really going to focus on what happened to her, but remembering her life. Now, we do know that she was shot and killed while sitting inside of a car just a couple of days ago, and police are still looking for that suspect and the shooter. Multiple shooters could possibly be behind all of this. Now, family and friends are saying that although she was just 18 years old, that she did a lot for the community. Let's take a listen to some of the sound that we gathered from earlier.
12 years from now, our baby would have been 30 years old. I want you to think about what this young baby would have been, who she would have been, what she would have contributed to this community in 12 years. I want you to understand what we lost was something that's great.
I want you to use Casey's life as an example, number one, to show you that you can do what you want to do, but you gotta want to do it and make the right choices.
And that's really the message they kept repeating over and over again, that Casey was just 18, but she had a lot going for herself as she was working with youth groups and mentoring groups here in the city of Detroit. They also released balloons, purple and white balloons in her honor, her two favorite colors. I'll have a lot more coming up later on tonight. We are live. Larry Spruill, Local 4.
All right, Larry, a lot of life to live there for sure. Thanks, Larry.
All right, still ahead, the Michigan Supreme Court has made a big decision on a case involving the mailing out of applications for absentee ballots ahead of the past 2 elections.
Plus, an emotional reunion at a Michigan hospital as a COVID patient and his daughter finally get to see each other. And here's Kim.
Restaurants are coming up with new, safe ways on how to still make money on New Year's Eve. I'll show you how they're keeping their employees working on what would typically be one of their biggest nights of the year.